And like, what was like the final preparations you guys were doing before pushing out?
Yeah, so it was kind of weird. We checked in, we got in country, Leatherneck, and you do about 2 weeks worth of in briefs and ROEs and stuff from the JAG and climatization. They want us to climatize before we push, but it was cold at the time, so it wasn't bad. And we left Leatherneck and went to Dwyer.
Mm-hmm.
And we stayed out at Dwyer. That's where they gave us our A&A counterparts. So they essentially, squad for squad, my squad got assigned a squad of A&A, and then we started to eat chow together and try to break the barriers, the cultural and language barriers, and bring them out and see how we move and how we move as a squad. And there was the feelings of it, though, were not drastic until we received an order, because until we received an order, it was all hearsay. And I would always tell my squad, I don't give a shit what you hear, and I really don't care what you see, because only believe none of what you hear and half of what you see. My dad would tell me that all the time. Something his grandfather would tell him, and it's true. You never know what's coming down until you hear it from the horse's mouth, and you're getting a no bullshit official order. That's when you know. What we did know is that we were helicopter company. We did know that they made us qual in the dunk tank and everything before we left, and said there's a very high chance that we'll be doing a helo insert. Then when you get to Dwyer, it's like now you're trying to get your call for fires down. You're trying to get your CASs down. You're trying to get your 9 lines down. You're trying to integrate with these other soldiers that don't even speak your language. You're getting your interpreters and getting a feel for your interpreters, which we had some great ones. Then we got our order. We got our warning order from our Lieutenant Emmanuel. Amazing guy, still hitting, still a major now. Just a phenomenal Marine, a phenomenal man, phenomenal person. Always has been. But he gave us our order, and it was no bullshit. It was like, hey, we're helo inserting. This is the grid we're coming down on. This is our foothold building. We'll reconsolidate at the foothold, and then our first mission is to overwatch these MSRs so no enemy backfill while the other platoon is hitting this village. After they hit the village, we'll bound past them and hit our main. That was MEB objective 2 or 3, I think 3, and it was supposed to be an ID maker's compound, and they had OE antennas and communications up on pictures, and it was wild. We got that brief, and then there was a select number of key personnel that went to another brief that was given by, I don't know if it's CIA or who it was, hit Marines, guys with beards and plain clothes that came in that, had taken part in shaping and, probing some of the city and getting pictures for us of IED fields and of road intersections. And I mean, like, it was real deal. Holyfield, they had it all. They had the pictures, they had the brief, they had the latest intelligence, and it was wild. And
what was going through your mind during this, though? Like, when you're getting these briefs, like, were you like, holy shit, like, this is fucking, I got what I asked for?
I was super jazzed. Yeah, I was like, fuck yeah. I tell people there were only 2 things in the Marine Corps that I experienced that were as bad or worse than what they said that they would be, and that was OC spray and Marjah. Those are the only 2 things that ever came close. And every soft knock and hard knock I had done in the past, be it in a different country at a different time, different place, it was always dry hole, dry hole, dry hole. So even then, like, my feelings, I was jazzed, but I was like, I know it's going to be dry hole. I know as soon as we hit, there's nothing's going to be going on. I was jazzed about it being real, but I still had that doubt in my mind that this was as real as what they said. So even with all the pictures and all the shaping and all the intel, I was like, they better be there to fight, because I want to fight. And I'm at the peak. I felt like I was at the peak of my knowledge base I could handle my, even though this was a new squad, I'd have to manage it a little tighter until I figured out who was who as far as capabilities. But I was confident in that, and I was ready to go. So when not everybody on the field is a warrior, right? Some of them are fighters. The warriors, embrace that. And that's the way I felt about it. And some of our guys didn't. So it was shocking to some of our guys, because after the warning order was given, we issued out 10 sandbags per Marine to stuff under their flak. in case we needed to harden our positions once we got on the ground. And we issued 3 body bags a squad, 1 per team. And when the boots unroll body bags and pack them into their kits, and you see their eyes go misty, it's fucking real, And so some of the guys, took that route. And as a leader, you have to manage that and reinforce positive, encouragement and positive reinforcement. And that was the first time I had to deal with that with any of my Marines. So, I try to tell people all the time that leadership's not one size fits all. You might be able to yell at this kid and it's enough motivation and inspiration to get him moving and doing a positive thing. But if you yell at this kid, he might shut completely down on you. Mm-hmm. And I learned that leadership's not one size fits all. You need to constantly be practicing your leadership. Doctors practice surgery and practice medicine, and lawyers practice law, but leadership should be the same. It's ever changing. The personalities are always changing. And if you don't know your people, you won't know the best way to handle them. And so, I learned a lot in that deployment about human psychology, both in war and for young men going to war, and guys younger than me going to war, guys older than me in war. And that was one of the things I took away, is you can't just come over the top all the time. Sometimes you got to get on a real level and say, hey, we very well may die tomorrow. We got to get our heads right. Where you at, And
that's a reality check, man. Packing some body bags. Like, hey, man, I need you to put this bag in your shit. Be ready. Fuck, man. That's
When I talk to the Marines now, I do inspirational speaking over on River Road. Now I've been invited out now to talk to a couple of groups of Marines, and I give keynote speeches to them, and they're on my YouTube. But one of the things that hits home, and I can see all their eyes get wide, and it's true to the core, is I tell them, in war you can do everything right, and people will still die. Mm-hmm. You can make every right decision, and people will still die, and your mistakes go in body bags. Your friends are your mistakes, So you got to be serious. You got to be in the serious business, and you got to be mentally ready for that.
What was your loadout that you guys were going in with? Like, you're obviously not coming in.
Everything, all of it.
So, how much ammo were you carrying? Like, what did you personally carry in with you?
I say all of it because when they issued our pallets, they brought our pallets out. They were squad pallets, and I got pictures of them. I mean, Laws, AT4s, couple thousand rounds of 240. 15, 20 fibers per squad of 60 millimeter mortars, small rockets, because we had to spread load everything for all the weapons, right? Because they're flying in with us. And, with zero, I had, I don't know how, 6-8 hand grenades, couple flashbangs, trip flares, couple claymores, satchel charges. It was everything and anything. We had guys going in with machine gun rounds across their chest, looked like cowboys, but it was because they had so many in their backpack they couldn't fit anymore. We had everything, all of it. Any squad organic weapon times 3, and we spread loaded that shit up. And basically, we went in with heavy day packs and palletized our main packs and our gear. And with I had 0 sleeping bag. I had only the clothes that were on me and 2 pairs of socks and 2 Ranger rolls, and everything else was weapons, ammo, hand grenades. And I think my pack weighed like 120 pounds. And that was the average weight with 0 creature comfort items. We had stripped down first strike MREs, 3 of them, because we were supposed to open the ground line of communication in 24 hours. That didn't happen. Iodine tablets we took in the safe straws just in case we needed water. Very few guys would dangle a sleeping bag off the side of their day pack and just say, I'm running with it, I'm not going to freeze, but there was only a few of those. But yeah, it was everything you could think of.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, I was talking to Christopher Herr, who was one of the scouts that was attached to 3-6 during that deployment. And he was like, yeah, they told us not to bring our main packs and not to bring like really don't bring your sleeping system. Bring ponchos, poncho liners, and you'll be your gear will be behind you like 72 hours. We'll drop off your gear. And he's like, man, I didn't see that shit for over a month. He's like, we froze every night.
It was, and it was cold. Yeah, it sucked. Not only that, we ran out of food. Like I talk about it in the book, but we ran out of food on the second or third day, and I gave all my main meals out to my guys. But you're fighting 6, 8, 10, 12 hours out of the day while it's light, and then at night you're trying to stuff yourself. I mean, I experienced things that I never thought I would experience as a leader. I had guys go down to hypothermia in day one, where I had to start a warming fire inside of a mud hut and put guys against their will, sit down, you're going to drop. Like I cannot evac you right now. Air is hot, you know, and then rotate them. I had to have guys take power naps because their adrenaline was so uncontrolled that they would be in the middle of a fight and just like be nodding off. And it's like, sit down, sleep, get 20, you know, get 30, whatever. And so many things that I never thought that I would have to deal with, or that I never even had on my radar to deal with, that happened there. So, yeah, it was a fickle bitch.
When you came in,
Especially the insert.
Yeah, I was gonna say with the insert, you're talking about coming in with a 100+ pound pack, you know, and that's everybody.
Mm-hmm.
God forbid you're the guy carrying the mortars and shit. You know, the
mortars,
yeah.
the APOB systems that are 55 pounds a piece on your back, 2-man system. Yeah, all of that.
So was there any concern about mobility in the initial phase? You know, like, hey, we're landing and we got to hit this objective. How hard is it to hit an objective with the 100-pound ruck on your back?
It's not fun, but like we trained it. We had these on and off drills every day, you know, and everybody was carrying pretty good weight to get used to like what they were going to be doing, and everything was sexy in the training. And they landed us in a flooded poppy field and we couldn't move. And so, yeah, don't fall in love with the plan. Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth, right? So improvise, adapt, and overcome. That's what we had to do. But yeah, it was, you know, like you got to weigh that out. Yes, we're going to be less mobile, but we're inserting under the cover of darkness at very early in the morning, and we're only 100 meters outside of a foothold building where we can don all that shit off and fight if needed. And then when we got the fight under control, we keep moving. I never thought about it. I never thought, oh, you know, I'm like, damn, this is heavy. But I was just glad they gave us that much shit. You know, I didn't want to run out of rounds. So I was like kind of grateful, you know, until you're stuck, until things are going bad. Then it's like, okay, we got to find a, you know, an ORP somewhere and drop half of this shit so we can go get these guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it sucked, but we had enough ammo, and I'm grateful for that. So,
what was the enemy composition like, and was it what you expected? Was it what you guys were getting in intel briefs, or was it, you know, harder than you thought?
I felt like everybody that was in the city when we landed there wanted to kill us. Everybody that didn't want to kill us left and went and coiled out in the desert. They had pictures of them from the briefs. And so that for us made it easy. I mean, it was like, okay, I think he's bad. Yep, he's bad. Boom. You know, we put him down. And, you know, the ROEs in the beginning were as such that you couldn't, like, if I seen somebody out there watching me with a two-way radio, walkie-talkie, cell phone, I couldn't do anything to him. But that very quickly changed in the first days, because they would have active spotters out there, and then our ICOM chatter Marines, our interpreter Marines, would intercept those two-way radio calls, and they were commanders controlling teams against us. And so when we started putting them down for actively spotting, we were able to get a hold of them better, you know, there initially.
Yeah.
Because that they thought they were playing our rules against us, and our rules changed, and we were able to kind of get back control of the area. That, I mean, not like we ever lost control. We took control initially, but my initial perspective, to get back to the question, when we landed, you know, I had 55-man chalk or 56-man chalk stuck in the mud, and all but 2 weapons operatable. And then, you know, in the book I go into it, but we had our counterpart A&A inserted to the north of us, which they were supposed to, but they were given a like an IR flicker, like told him to put it on his chest, and before the bird even put down, said, Woundy, before the bird puts down, you got to put this on your chest. It's the only way I'm going to be able to tell you from the bad guys. Well, he forgot to turn it on. So here comes 30 dude platoon coming to meet us, and the AC-130 circling's like, hey, prepare to defend yourself. You have a platoon size element, you know, and that got spicy for a second, and then he flicked on his little IR right at the end, and we had cobras coming down on them. So thank God he flicked it on. But when our bird dropped us off and peeled away, to our northwest, there was a technical vehicle firing with red tracers back up at our bird. And I was like, okay, it's not a dry hole. They're here. And then when the sun came up, it was on. We got after it for about the rest of the day.